What is going on? Welcome to the Ask Bri series, where we literally pull a question coming from one of y'all and give an answer straight off the dome. Let's do this, baby. Look, guys, before we even get into the question, because I didn't pull it yet, we got our question 10 right here, so I'm going to pull in a minute. I'm not going to lie. It's 11 o'clock at night where I am right now, and I have both a very consistent schedule that I record and do things in, and then I have an intuitive schedule. So whenever I intuitively feel like get up and start recording, it's a wrap. There is no question about it. And for some reason at 11 p.m., okay, after just laying in bed, ready to go to bed, ready to go to sleep, I just felt intuitively record and Ask Bri. So we're here. Okay, we're recording this right now. And the one thing that I heavily promote with my brand on this channel in general is authenticity. I'm moving into that energy of authenticity and really speaking to how important it is in order for us to be authentic with ourselves, or in order for us to connect with others, it is to be authentic with ourselves, right? And so I almost got dressed up for y'all. I almost did the whole thing, the whole shebang. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and put on my clothes and and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to. And I had a choice. I was like, I can either get dressed up and do what I usually always do, or I can show up in the exact shirt that I'm wearing right now, right? Put my hair back. At least I didn't come in the crazy afro I was in. One day I will, because it's going to get that real. But I was like, I'll put my hair back or whatever the case is. I'm just going to show up. No makeup, no nothing, no anything. And it was interesting because although I'm in that energy and I'm in that vibe, it was actually kind of hard to do that, right? It was difficult for me to show up just authentically as I was. I found myself struggling a little bit. So although you'll hear me talk about how important it is to just be authentic and be yourself, and how I, throughout my journey, had to learn that, there's still a lot of conditioned things that I've learned throughout my life of how important it is to look a certain way in order for people to take you seriously, or in order for people to, think you have something to say. And I was just it is my brand and I am on YouTube and people are going to see me. So maybe I should get a little done up. Maybe I should do just a little mascara. And I found myself going back and forth. And the one thing I had to tell myself is, if I'm not true to what I'm talking about, why would I be talking about it? That hit me right there. And I had to have a moment to realize it's not even that I'm not true to what I'm talking about. It's just, it's not that easy. And so if you have been listening to my podcast, if you have been listening to anything that I have posted here, or if you're brand new, hey, welcome. But I do heavily promote authenticity in order for us to have real, genuine connections. And I'm telling you right now, as someone who is actively practicing authenticity, you've seen me on here with no makeup. You've seen me on here, looking different kinds of ways. As someone who is actively practicing it, I have my moments where it's tougher than others. I have certain areas of my life where it's tougher than others. It is not the most easiest thing in the world. Even coming on here, I did not expect to have this conversation. I expected to do what I was going to do for this series, pick out, boom, ask the question, right? But I'm this is an authentic channel, so we're going to have real conversation. And the truth is coming on here with a t-shirt and, not doing anything to my hair, not doing anything to my face, was harder today than it was yesterday, than it was the day before. Why? Because I'm a little down on myself today, right? When it comes to my looks, right? There's a part of me that's just damn, I haven't worked out in 4 days, and damn, I haven't done certain things, right? I started getting down on myself and kind of allowing my insecurities to drive me a little bit. And being in that energy allowed me to feel a little insecure coming on here to talk to y'all. And that's a normal thing. That's okay. And literally in that, the more insecure I felt, the more I had to push myself to do it. It's the more I was fighting myself, I was okay, now I have to. I was fighting myself to come on with this shirt because I don't let anyone see me in this shirt. This is my raggedy shirt. And I was okay, now I definitely have to. Now I definitely have to put this shirt on. I definitely have to show up on the camera and still deliver what I believe is value. And so I just wanted to say, if you are in the process of practicing what it is that I have been preaching and speaking on this channel, and you have been hitting some rough times, or you have been wanting to be authentic, but you are not just, it's just not coming so easy, or you're not in a place where you're like, okay, I can fully dive in. That's okay. That's okay. Even I have my days. And I felt like it was important for us to talk about it real quick. But I'll probably put that in a different video. Okay. But let's get into this. It's the Ask Bri portion of things. Last week, the question was about makeup, right? Does makeup disconnect ourselves? Oh my God, that's crazy. It was literally about, does makeup disconnect us from ourselves? And here I am kind of going back and forth on whether or not I should do my little mascara before coming to record here. It's 11 p.m. After this recording, I'm going to bed. So I'm not about to put on some makeup and get dressed just to do a recording and go to bed. I refuse. It's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just not for me. I don't want to do it. So I decided not to. And that feels better than having or trying to appeal to the people who don't want to accept me for me. You know what I'm saying? So crazy. But let's get into this question. Let's see what the question is for today. So I'm going to go ahead and pull. For those of you who don't know how this works, I basically take in questions that come from you guys via my email. So if you email me and you have this dire question or this dire situation that you have been going through and you kind of want me to make a video about it, you send it to me and I go ahead, write it all out, and I put it in the question 10. And during the series, or anytime I'm recording one of these videos, I basically pull out these questions anonymously. I kind of close my eyes, and off the top of the dome, I answer based off of the wisdom that I have, the intuitive guidance that I am feeling to give, and things of that sort. And the reason why I do this is because during my one-on-one coaching, I have realized that a lot of my clients tend to relate to one another. So I will explain something to one client and find myself explaining that exact same thing, just with a different scenario, to another client. And it just proves to me how connected we truly are. We're also incredibly connected to each other. So a lot of questions that you have, somebody else has it too. So why not share it with everybody without sharing people's names? So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you check out the information in the description, because it'll tell you how to do it. But just email me and make sure you put in the subject line Ask Bri, so I know that that's what you're emailing me for, and ask your question. I'll go ahead and put it in the 10, and very soon you'll see a video popping up with that exact answer. Okay, so let's dive into this and let's see what is the question for today. What's the vibes for today? What are we talking about today? Okay, we got one today. I think 2 weeks ago we had like 3, so I was a little shook. It's a long one. Okay. This says, how can we be okay with being unique or striving for a unique life in a world that's so traditional or set on expectations from society? Wow. I'm going to show y'all real quick. Interesting. Let me take a look at that one. How can we be okay with being unique or striving for a unique life in a world that's so traditional or set on expectations from society? I mean, first, second, and third of all, is that not, in all technicality, what we started this conversation off? Of me having to go through it. You see how God works sometimes? You see how the universe works sometimes? Here I am being pulled to do an Ask Bri video. Then all of a sudden, the exact question I pull out is literally asking how to be okay with being unique. When I literally had to go through a moment of figuring out how to be okay with being my authentic, unique self. Knowing that everybody shows up very put together, very much a certain way. And I'm not doing that shit today. Nah, I don't want to do that today. Isn't it interesting how everything just, wow. Okay, cool. Let's get into this. I love this question. Honestly, if you have known me for a long time, then you know that for a long time, I was going by Brianna Unique. And when I say a long time, I mean 10 plus years. Brianna Unique was my stage name. Back when I was doing poetry, when I was dancing in high school. Everybody knew me by my name, but also Brianna Unique was the name I went by, right? Like if you see my book is somewhere It's over there. I'll show you guys later. But the book that I wrote, it's Brianna. It's like my full name or whatever the case is, but unique is what I went by. And the reason why is because I'm different. You know what I mean? Like just saying that way, but not even in a braggy way. But I literally showed up as different as possible. Because there was a part of me that was just a huge rebel and just didn't care for society's norms and traditions and things of that sort. So I'm going to answer this question based off of how I became okay with it, but also the difficulties that I find with it, right? So how can we be okay with being unique? I think once you realize that unique is the true norm, that's when you can start to become okay with being unique, right? And that's sometimes harder to do, right? Because it's like you think everyone is doing the same thing and thinking the same thing. But the truth is, like, we're all different. All of us are unique. We all have a unique DNA, unique thumbprint, unique everything, right? Down to our social security numbers. They're all unique, right? So we're all different. This world is just made up of different species and mammals and people and things and situations. And so unique is honestly the norm. We think that being the same is the norm. That's why it's so uncomfortable to stray away from, being the same. It's uncomfortable to stray away because it's like, it's a truth. Right? And when you live your life in a lie for so long, you genuinely do become, accustomed to the lie. And so now living your truth is like being seen. Being seen is very uncomfortable, right? So I think that once you realize that unique is actually the norm, that's kind of the first step. Like, we're all different. Point blank period, right? Because the uniqueness, we usually run away from our uniqueness because of what we think others are going to think of us, period. Right? How is this person going to take me? You're not worried about being unique. Being unique, it has never been the issue, ever. It is, how are they going to perceive me? How are they going to react and respond to me? And is it going to benefit me or is it going to hurt me? And that's what keeps us from really wanting to be our unique self. That's what keeps us from really showing up the way that we want to. So with earlier's, example, me coming on here as my about to go to sleep self, I'm not actually worried about showing up as I'm about to go to sleep self. That wasn't the worry. The worry is, how are you going to perceive me for showing up that way? Are you still going to feel like I provided value? Are you still going to want to watch? Are you going to still stay subscribed? Do you actually care to continue this connection with me? If I show up authentically, if I show up as myself, even though everyone else that I know on this platform is showing up a certain way, down to the point where there are blogs and like proven tests, or maybe they're not tests, statistics. There are proven surveys, statistics, whatever the case may be, that speak to how the way you look and show up, it can get you more opportunity, more money, more situations, more subscribers, right? So when everything, all the proof is showing me that what I want to do is actually against the norm or against society, that's the thing that keeps me from doing it. That's the thing that keeps me stuck in this cycle of thinking it's not okay to be my unique self. When in reality, we're all unique. And so the way that I look at it is, it's kind of like it goes into one another. If I'm unique, that means that everyone is unique, right? Like, we're all different. Every single one of us. It is actually crazy to all try to be the same when we're literally all so different. You know what I'm saying? But if we're all different, naturally, that is the norm. And every single one of us are trying to also be the same. The first thing I think about is I'm not the only one that wants to show up not so done up. Like, I know for a fact, I am not the only one that wants to show up authentically. And now already, without even knowing who, without even understanding who, I've already connected myself to a group of people who relate. So it doesn't feel like an outcast anymore. I don't feel so separate from everybody when I want to be myself. The truth is even though you're unique, people still relate because we're so connected to one another. So me showing up authentically, me showing up not being so done up, it's going to relate to somebody because somebody also wants to show up that way, or somebody likes that laid back vibe a little bit more. So now there's this conviction, this truth in me that people like me, like-minded people, they don't have to be me because I'm always going to be my own self. I'm always going to be unique. But there are people who have similar mindsets, who have similar points of views, or who are inspired by my point of view, who are interested in what it is that I do and who it is that I am. And just that thought alone, especially because a lot of it, like we're speaking to like outside energy, right? The thought that I'm not alone in this starts to make me feel like it's okay for me to be unique. It's okay for me to show up as my authentic self, right? So that's that side. The other side of it, how do I become okay with being unique in a society that's so traditional? I love myself. Cliche, maybe, but it's true. And I think that's the part that you have to understand self-love in order for you to really grasp this. But self-love isn't just about like giving yourself the nice things and like trying to find a level of peace in a very chaotic time. Self-love is through the differences within yourself, the problems within yourself, the parts of you that doesn't make you feel so good or is so incredibly different. You're going to love that version of you. You're going to nurture that version of you. You're going to allow you, who you truly are, your authentic self, to blossom, right? To show up, to take space. That is self-love. And so when you make the ultimate decision, the ultimate declaration to love yourself, you actually become very okay with being unique. And now it's just about navigating society as your unique self. So the truth is it doesn't mean that you're never going to come into an opposing energy. It just means that you love yourself through that. So no matter what, you stand firm in who you are, like who you authentically are, beyond the trauma, beyond the problems, but looking at your trauma and looking at your problems and saying, I'm going to nurture you through this. I'm going to love you through this. I'm going to reparent you through this. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to toss you to the side. I'm going to love you in all of who you are, seeing how different you are, seeing how much your truth could even possibly trigger negative responses. I'm going to be your number one fan. That's what I believe self-love is. Self-love is I decide that I'm going to be your number one fan through it all. Through the most embarrassing times, through the hardest times, through the worst times, and all the greater times. And being your number one fan doesn't mean I'm going to excuse everything that you do. Being your number one fan means I'm going to give you genuine, honest feedback about what you're doing. And then I'm going to support you. And support sometimes looks like I'm going to get you the help I need to get you. Support sometimes looks like I'm going to tell you what it is that you need to hear. Support looks like I'm going to take in the signs and synchronicities that are coming my way and actually see myself. I'm going to allow myself to see myself, to grow, things of that sort, right? So I think that when you decide that you're going to love yourself truly, deeply, unconditionally, you actually become very okay with being different. You become very okay with living a different kind of life, with not wanting what everybody wants. Because at that point, it's just not about everybody. And once you can get yourself to a place of not making it about everybody, and I don't mean like the part of you that's just like, F society, I don't care about what anyone thinks. I think that is such BS. Like if you watch any of my videos, I say it all the time. I'm like, we care. We care. It's just like naturally in us to want to cooperate with others. But we hold resentment, we hold anger. There's a lot of things that we hold that kind of, disconnects us. But for the most part, we care. We care about what others think about us. We care about what we think about us, right? So the idea that, well, we just don't care, that's BS. But when you can get to that place of actually caring more about your own opinion about yourself, while being so incredibly clear, authentic, and real with yourself, you literally overcome your disconnect with being unique. Like it's almost like you take pride in being unique because you love you. You just love you. Like if you've ever loved somebody that is just different from what your people, your family, your friends, whatever the case is used to. And you're just like, I know this person isn't as tall. I know this person is not, my type or my usual type, but I love them. At that point, there's nothing anyone can say to make you change your mind. There's no problem that can make you change your mind about them. You're in it. When you get that vibe towards yourself, being unique in a traditional society or society that has expectations, it goes out like it becomes this easy thing. The fear of it starts to go out the window. You start just showing up as you, because at that point you're like, I'm going to take up space as myself. I'm not trying to be anybody, because the trying to be anybody is to literally be accepted. It's literally to get people to see you a certain kind of way, right? Otherwise, you would just be yourself. That's the only reason why any of us show up the way that we show up. It's because someone outside of ourselves told us that this was the correct way to show up. Whether they told us verbally, whether they told us through reinforcement, whether they told us through rules and regulations, right? If you were in the army, then there's a certain way you got to show up there. If you grew up in a certain kind of household, they expected you to show up. Your parents, your guardians, whoever expected you to show up a certain way. Then you had to code switch a little bit, because how you showed up at home versus how you showed up with friends was a little bit different, right? So not being comfortable with being unique or struggling to be your true self in society actually has nothing to do with anybody else but you. You're looking at what everyone else has said you needed to show up instead of owning your own opinion of how to show up. And once you own your own opinion and you own yourself, you love yourself, it actually becomes so much easier showing up as you. And like I said, back to that example, showing up here the way that I wanted to show up here allows me to deliver a more authentic video. But if I did get done up and if I did do all of that stuff, yes, I probably still would give you a beautiful video. But it just still would have been more about how I'm perceived than the value that I'm giving. And when you stop equating value to looks and perfection, you'll actually start receiving what it is that is truly for you and not what society said is good. Because what's good in society might not actually be good for you. And you're going to be chasing something that actually isn't in alignment with you. It's not purposeful for you. It's not fulfilling for you. If anything, you're going to see this thing fail again and again and again because it's just not for you. And it's begging you. Society is begging you to see your true self, accept your true self, and then show up as your true self. And the more that you are looking at society and saying, I don't know if it's okay to show up as my unique self, that is you doing yourself a disservice. And you're doing society a disservice too. Because even though society says this is what the norm is, society is in desperate need of unique individuals. Because it's the unique individuals that make the changes that are necessary for the world. They're the inventors, the innovators. They're the thought leaders. They're the leaders. They're the ones that take something so ordinary and make it better than ever. They're the ones that entertain us. They're the ones that keep us going. They're the ones that create systems that allow us to live easier lives. That's who the unique ones are. And as long as society keeps playing this game of control and needing everyone to show up the same, keeping everyone terrified of being their unique self, what ends up happening is we just become a dead society. And we don't need a dead society. So becoming okay with being unique is deciding to love yourself fully, and also understanding that there's a whole group of people out there that need your unique self, that align with your unique self, that truly are looking for someone as unique as you to inspire them, to wake them up, to see them, or to help them see themselves. And so not being unique is actually the biggest disservice. So I hope that makes sense. We went in different places, but it came together, right? But that would be my answer for sure. That's I'm going to go with that. Okay. Of course, if you want your question answered, make sure you go ahead and email me, and I'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, thank you for being here. If you're brand new, hey, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And, I don't want to tell you what to do, but you can become a subscriber, join the fam, and be all up in the mix. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. Think about it, okay? Just think about it. However, if you are already subscribed, boobop, sugar pie, honey bun, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for always, always, always watching. So amazing. But please feel free to comment, to like, share this bad boy. Get your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' 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 friends and your family and your family's family all up in the mix, because these are conversations we can have for days. And until next time, I'm sending you so much love.